Mr. Jones, you have a witness joining us?
It's 3 a.m. for that, so I don't know.
Okay.
We have the general manager here.
You're prepared to proceed even?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you
Do
want,
you want me to?
go ahead?
I can,
Yeah,
okay. All right, good evening. This is a continuation of the hearing regarding the application of Suburban Studios Exton, Philadelphia, Great Valley, 877 North Pipestone Pike, Euclid Township, for a licensed to operate a hotel in the township. This is a continuation of a previous hearing. We've already marked exhibits, board exhibit 1 through board exhibit 7. I do have 2 additional exhibits, just notices regarding tonight's hearing. We did continue it on the record till tonight, but we also advertised just to be on the safe side. So we have board exhibit 8 is the public notice of this continued hearing, and board exhibit 9 is the proof of advertising of this continued hearing. When we left off last, we had received some testimony, and the board, I think, had asked some questions, but we're going to ask some additional questions. So tonight, in addition to the hotel manager who was with us at the last hearing, we also have counsel. So I'm going to ask counsel to come up and introduce himself, and if you want to make a presentation, you're free to do so.
Hi, my name is Dave Jones. I'm the law firm of Saxon and Stump. I'm stationed in York, PA, but my folks are represented by one of my partners in the sale of the process of the hotel. So I'm here this evening with them. I am a solicitor up in my area, so I kind of know your side of the table as well as mine. But tonight we're here with regard to the Suburban Studios hotel license, the continuation. I did watch the prior hearing that was on YouTube, so I understand you have some questions for the general manager. General manager is Erica, she's here this evening, and we're joined as well by Anikat Shroff, who is the owner's brother, who is in Dubai at the moment at 3 a.m. So he is on here as well. I don't know if you have questions about the other I'll just say the other violations, because it sounds like there were some violations. There was some trash in the mechanical room. The dumpster was overflowing. There were some abandoned cars on the property. And as I understood testimony last time, those items had been addressed, and we were down to just the issue of the folks overstaying the 30-day permitted stay. So I don't want to retread ground if everyone's comfortable with that, if we can just focus on that issue. But if you'd like to hear anything about those items, we're glad to address those.
Yeah, I'll defer to the board. I think that's right, that's the issue. It's a significant issue of people being beyond the 30 days, but I'll defer to the board if they want to hear anything else as well.
No, I think while they were not entirely resolved, I think they were moving towards resolution, and it was really the overstays that were the issue for me, at least. But
Okay.
I will speak for the others.
And my
Well, I'm going to allow the others to because I'm just one person. So.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't have any problems moving on.
Okay. So my understanding is this has been an extended stay hotel for some time. The Schroffs have purchased this in August of this year, so they were catching up on some things. We had some residents, or I'll call them guests, who were overstaying their welcome, and they had to be evicted. And then so these are new folks that are in, and so I think the ownership is getting their footing underneath them. And I'm not sure that they were aware of the new ordinance that came into effect here. It looks like on the 8th of December. So I think I've talked to them very closely about what the requirements are and what they need to do going forward.
I just want to, and I don't mean to interrupt you, the ordinance has been in place. That the December was just an amendment.
Right. I'm sorry.
There was already there was an existing hotel ordinance, and we're proceeding, at least for the purposes of this hearing, under the existing ordinance prior to December. It's actually if anything, it's become more strict, so this is beneficial to your client.
Sure, sure. Okay. So why don't I have Erica come up as the manager, and if you folks have, I think you were asking questions last time and you wanted to hold off until you had council present, if I'm not mistaken, but if that's appropriate, maybe that's the way to go.
If you want to, I don't know if do you want to proceed with questioning now, or would you like counsel to sort of bring you up to date and make whatever presentation he wants to make before you ask your questions?
If you have a presentation prepared, I'd be happy to hear all
Okay.
that information and then we can follow up with any additional questions.
Okay. My understanding from the owners and from Erica is that they have gotten everyone out of the rooms except for the three folks that we have given you the packets for. And under your ordinance, it provides that the township manager may, for good cause, show and extend stay. I've read these. They all sound pretty heart-wrenching to me. One of the gentlemen had his apartment unit flooded where he lives regularly, and also has some health issues. So he cannot go back to that because his location is uninhabitable. I've not fact-checked that. I'm just going off of what was written there.
Do you have any knowledge about, and we can also
And we
ask
can
the manager, how long he intends to be out of his house, or how long he expects to be out of his house?
I only have the information that's on there. We can ask Erica that. Maybe she's had conversations to that extent. The other lady from Texas, her daughter, I believe, is at CHOP. She was rushed there. She does not live in Pennsylvania. She lives in Texas. So that is that lady. And then the third lady apparently has a large open wound on her leg somewhere, and is being treated and cannot be moved. So again, I am only going off of the information that was provided. If we don't know the length of stay that they would be requesting, but I can tell you that that's the information that we have, and perhaps we can bring Eric up to speak a little more on those. But we also, I would like to say, they do understand that it's now 28 days every 35 days. That there is that's the rule, and that everyone that comes in has to be checked in that way. And I believe Ms. Gonzalez can testify as to the way they've drafted their policies and what's given to every single guest when they check in.
I appreciate that. I'll just say, in regards to the three that it looks like have submitted formal requests to the township manager, we're in receipt of those. I appreciate that that is the process we laid out through the ordinance, and so I would like to give our township staff time to review those. I don't think that we need to publicly hash out their specific situations in this hearing tonight, because we can move through that process now that those have been filed.
I left the names out for that purpose. I
okay.
felt a little uncomfortable too, but I thought I at
I'm
least
less
had to give them
concerned
the-
about going through the ones that we have received. At the time of our last hearing, we had 11, in excess of 10, I believe, that we had identified that had been staying there. And so you're representing that all but 3 of them are no longer in the hotel?
According to my client, so Ms. Gonzalez, can you come up?
Can I ask to be she be sworn? We're old friends. It's
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just drafted up some forms and I let them all know what the situation was. I did have all types of tears and curses and all types of things that went on. But I just explained it to them. I did direct them to the video so they wouldn't think I was the one making this up, just trying to kick them out. Because I was getting a lot of that pushback. But I did give them that and they did leave. I even had a couple that left today. But like I said, the ones that are on there, handicap and stuff, so it's really difficult for them to move from one to the other. Even like the one, she's in a wheelchair, and she doesn't know how long her kid's gonna be in CHOP for and things like that. But I did do that, and then before I did show Tara the hotel policies that I had in place before. So what I did just add, I added the ordinance to it. And those they get at check-in.
Okay. I just had a couple questions that I had written down from our prior meeting that, if you don't mind, I'm going to run through just because we're here. Can you explain to me, just so that I can understand a little bit, the process? I assume you're there, do you run like the day-to-day business of the hotel? Okay. When a guest checks out,
Let me so just because we have a court reporter here,
Sorry, yes.
that's okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
yes, no, it's hard for her to get body language and things.
um, can you walk me through a little bit the process that happens when a guest is checking out of the room and how the room like returns to inventory?
It really depends on the length of stay and whether they had a pet or not. Sometimes we have to put a room out of order because they have to be like deep cleaned, and that could be a process of days because the carpet have to be shampooed, and that alone is a process and needs to dry and stuff like that. But it really just depends on the length of stay and the condition of the room. But right now, luckily, like not luckily, but we have low occupancy, so it's easier for us to put a room out and still accommodate to any transient guests that are coming
Okay. Is there any type of standard like time frame that you hope to get it flipped around in? I mean, I know
in. So right, in that policy, we have that we have to go into your room every 14 days, and that is per our brand standards. So it's every 14 days, but in between that, they can ask for like any amenities that they need replenished, any toiletries, towels, linen, anything like that. But again, with our occupancy percentage, um, our housekeeper does not mind just coming in if they need something done. But since they're there a little bit longer, they're like, we don't want anything, but it's written on there that I still have to come in and physically check the room and make sure like everything's safe and everything like that. I don't need anybody getting electrocuted or something. So, making sure that everything is good and that they're actually treating our property correctly, because the last thing I want is that when they leave, I have to pay for all new things. So definitely keep up there.
and you had mentioned that you have some guests currently and potentially in the past that have some type of special handicapped or special needs or services that are coming into the hotels to assist them. Um, can you speak to anything, for example, someone who's bedridden and cannot be moved?
Yes.
What is your emergency response plan if you had to evacuate the building for someone that was in a situation like that?
They all have like wheelchairs accessibility. We all at front desk, we're all aware. Everyone knows who is handicapped and who's not. And mostly we keep them in our handicap rooms just because everything is at a lower level and it's more accessible for them. So it's easier for us to keep track of that.
I'm sorry. Um, are you asking about more of a written policy or just generally what they do? I just want to make sure we answer your question.
That's okay. Either or. I mean, just knowing that you have guests that are not able to ambulate themselves or, that are potentially citing a reason for needing to stay
And they
with a
all
need.
have like someone with them, like their caretaker. So they have someone there for emergencies. Like the foreman was actually the lady, and she was speaking for her husband, which is why I also attached his ID. That was for her husband. The other one, it's actually the lady with the son and her husband, but she's in a wheelchair. The other one, she is in a wheelchair, but she has her dog. So I definitely make sure that they're being able to get taken care of. I personally, I can't worry about.
Okay, understood. Okay, and then just to go back, knowing that you have 3 remaining and that we had anywhere between 9 and 12 or some other number, and I understand you had the difficult conversations. They have all left the premises. Have they checked back in, or they're not guests at this time?
Have one guess that she's gonna be returning after the holidays, so that gives us that gap.
So except for the 3, you don't have any other longer term guests that you're aware of.
And I also just want to clarify for you, that moving forward, now you are under the new ordinance, which is,
Correct.
28 days and a 35-day period.
Any other questions?
No. And if I may say, I certainly understand that the manager will need time to review this. We're just asking you to put this on the record and take it under advisement. As soon as you can make the decision, that's great, but we understand that there's a process that we have to go through and that it may take some time to get that taken care of.
And they're aware as well.
Yeah, and I would just add on the record, I appreciate that those conversations were difficult and certainly that there are potentially valid reasons for a manager to grant, exception to the ordinance. I just want to reiterate that the goal here is really not to be in a position where we have to put people out on the streets. And that's not really what that's not the intent behind the ordinance. It's not what we want to do. We have a responsibility to the safety and the welfare of everyone in the township, whether they're residents or just passing through or guests in the hotel. And unfortunately, some of the outstanding health and safety issues that have led up to this point put us in a position where, we just have to make sure that we're creating a safe environment for everyone. But ultimately, the goal is to take care of everyone and be able to work together to make sure not only people's needs are met, but that we have a safe situation going on.
Erica, if it would be okay, I believe Erica is your contact person for the township at all times, so she's on site. Hopefully, she's always responsive. I know that was one of the items that was listed in the violation letter, that someone be there to assist in the inspection, so on and so forth. But Erica is your person, just to get that one on the record too, so that we have that clear for the record. And actually, Anna Kat, would you like to say anything from Dubai?
No, good morning, everyone. And I watched the hearing, and I really apologize for missing the hearing last time.
We're
I
not
mean,
hearing you, so if
Craig,
you're saying anything.
can you hear me?
Is it? Oh, yeah, speaker's off on our end, it looks like. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
All right, we'll take that as a no, Anakat.
So just for the record, and I know we got Erica's first name, I want to make sure we have the full name.
Erica Gonzalez.
Okay, thank you.
So, can you hear me, guys?
And
Hello?
we do appreciate you reconvening in light of what happened the last time around. I understand it's difficult to get a lot of people together, especially this close to Christmas. So again, we do appreciate that as well.
If does township staff have any questions? So if the board doesn't have any further questions, the option, I mean, you can make a decision tonight, you can take it under advisement, and make a determination, in the, after the hearing, we can announce it at our next meeting. We can prepare a written letter. Is a letter form of a written decision acceptable to you?
Makes no difference to me if it's in
Okay.
writing and signed by the board. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
I'm not ready to make a determination at this moment, but I think a written determination would be
Okay.
appropriate.
I agree. So if there's no other questions,
I'm sorry, just one quick question. I know you're going to reorg on the 5th, but when would your next regular
So
meeting
the-
be? Or would you
it
have
would
your
be
regular
the-
meeting?
12, right?
Okay,
January 12th.
January 12th.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more comments or questions, I'll just ask for the record, is there any public comment? Okay, so with that, we'll adjourn the hearing.